Welcome back to the channel. Today what I'm going to be talking about is how necessary it is for a natural person to stay consistent with their workouts. And if you want to make any kind of progress in your conditioning, it's going to be detrimental that you maintain consistency. Again, and I'm always stressing the fact that don't get caught up on the amount of weight that you're lifting. Get caught up on the amount of volume that you're doing, the pump. And it's very, very, very important that you stay within the 10 sets per body part, 10 to 12 rep range, and you shouldn't have any issues. Today, what I worked on was back. Yesterday I did a little back. I did bent over rows with the barbell, pyramid up as usual. Today what I did bent over rows with the dumbbell. And when I'm doing bent over rows with the dumbbell, to keep from doing a lot of rocking and stuff like that, I like to hold my hand against the wall and do the rows that way. And it feels like that I'm concentrating more on the muscle rather than allowing a lot of rocking to come into play. So I feel like I'm isolating the muscle a whole lot more, and I'm pyramiding up with the dumbbells just to get the feel in my back. Now, in true essence, there are only a few exercises that you would have to do if you can maintain just doing just those exercises. But if you hit these exercises within your workout, you're going to hit your overall body. Like bent over rows. Bent over rows hit your overall back and your rear deltoids. So, the rear deltoids is something that most people neglect. But doing those bent over rows, you incorporate those with your bent over rows. When you're doing your overhead presses, you're also doing your traps, your triceps, the upper part of your chest, things of that nature. Bench press, the same thing. You're also doing the middle to lower portion of your chest when you're doing the flat bench presses. And squats, you're hitting your overall quadriceps, your glutes and stuff like that. And then you have to end up doing some type of calf raises for your calves. And simply because with the squat, I don't feel any kind of work in my hamstrings, I do stiff-legged deadlifts and stuff like that hit that. This is all the basics of exercise. And by you doing the basics, you will not miss any body part. You pretty much hit every body part. Even with the bent over rows and other things you're working are the biceps, So you won't miss anything with those basic exercises. You don't really have to really think about the exercise, and you're gonna hit everything. Just get those main exercises out the way, the basic exercises out the way, and you're gonna hit your overall body. Just make sure you include some type of barbell in your exercise regimen, and you're normally gonna hit a multitude of muscle groups at one time. Like I said before, I always pyramid up and weight, and even with these dumbbell rows, I pyramided up so I can feel the overall back muscle working. Make sure that I can feel the rear deltoids being worked, and you concentrate on the entire back. And like I said before, with the bent over rows, you're hitting your lower back. You get that in there just from picking the weight up anyway. And but that's what you want to do. You want to be able to work all facets of your muscles, and that right there within itself will give you the illusion of being bigger when you work the overall muscle. Now, when you start to pick one muscle over another one, if you love doing biceps and you do mainly biceps, that's when everything begins to start looking lopsided. And there's a difference between weight training and bodybuilding. And I normally don't win the bodybuilding crowd, and most of the guys think that I don't like bodybuilders, which in turn is not true. I mean, I've always watched bodybuilding, pretty much all my life. I've always looked at it and admired the guys. But fact is fact, truth is truth. So I'm gonna always tell you that. Now, weight training is pretty much conditioning the body, conditioning the overall body. A person is really not concerned about isolating certain muscles and making the body look a certain way. They just want the overall body in condition. They want to be in shape. That's it, as far as health-wise is concerned. But they're not really concentrating on developing this muscle versus that muscle. They're not concerned about that, which make that particular person, that particular body, more efficient at work, because that's what it's geared toward. Again, bodybuilding is like supermodels. The bodies that they develop are pretty much useless for everyday use. They really don't have a purpose because of the functionality of what they're doing. They're actually training the muscles to work out of sync with the other muscles. That is what makes bodybuilding not a efficient thing to do, as far as making your body more efficient at work. Weight training is what makes your body more efficient at work. Like I said before in a previous video, if you want to play football, you are working, you're weight training. That's what you do, you're weight training. You're not bodybuilding. And people confuse the two together because they are actually doing a lot of the same lifts. But the two are totally different. And once you decide which way you want to go, like I said, there's nothing wrong with bodybuilding. There's nothing wrong with a person want to create their body in such a way to where the overall body looks balanced. You know what I'm saying? Low percentages of body fat, excessively large build, highly detailed. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you're into. There's nothing wrong with that. But just be aware that the body is not efficient at work. It's a modeling type of thing. That's it. Whether you want to believe it or not, no matter what these guys look like your everyday Hercules or whatever, it all boils down to a beauty pageant and what judge like what physique the best, and that's pretty much it. It's a beauty pageant. But as far as weight training is concerned, like your NFL training, when they train for weights or whatever, they're training specifically for work. They're training for work. Whatever job they have, they're training for that job. You'll notice the lineman's workout regimen is different from a running back because they have two different jobs. They are requiring two different things from their bodies. So the training is going to be different because they're training for a specific job. You have to know what it is that you want to do. If you want to be just a more efficient person, all-around person, then weight training is the way to go. Compound movements is the way to go, rather than using a whole lot of dumbbells and stuff like that. You want to use, the bar, where you're incorporating other muscles with whatever lift that you're doing. You want to incorporate more muscles so that the body works uniformity. That's the only way the body is going to be more efficient. You have to train it to work together, all your muscles to work together. And that's not necessarily efficient for bodybuilding because, you may want to build your upper chest. So you would have to, incorporate exercises that would allow you to work that upper chest separately from the middle and lower chest. So, and that's the way you do it. That's bodybuilding. But anyway, I also did calves, standing calf raises, and the calf raises that I do are extremely basic. It's not even, I don't even put the board under my feet. I'm just doing it flat on the ground because that's the way we walk, and as your legs flex, you lift up with your calves or whatever. When I'm doing just basic calf raises, I'm just doing it off the squat rack and elevating my heels to engage my calves. That's pretty much it. And I stay within the same rep range as any other body part, But calves are something that you can hit those at the beginning of your workout. pretty much every day, as long as you're staying within that 10 set rep range. And I do the same thing with those. I'm pyramiding up with that too. And I also did standing dumbbell presses, overhead, pyramiding up again, and pyramiding back down. And that right there, if you start off with the lighter weights, concentrate on the movement of pressing the weights up over your head, lowering them back down, not necessarily in a slow way, but you got a nice rhythm of lifting that weight, but you're concentrating on what muscles are being engaged when you're lifting that weight up over your head. You'll find that your abdominals and all that are flexing, your traps, the middle portion of your back, the triceps, the deltoids are engaging. You can feel all that stuff if you are in tune with your body. And while you're doing that, you will get a much more of an enjoyment out of your workouts, rather than trying to lift super excessive heavy weights and not get anywhere. It's still wondering why your body hadn't changed. Your body hadn't changed because you're not really doing the work necessary to make it grow. And you can't do that lifting heavier and heavier weight when you end up working the tendons rather than the muscles. The tendons will be strong as I don't know, but the muscle itself, it won't look like you are making any progress if you continue to lift that weight. So you have to kind of lift those moderate weights, and that time under tension is very important. The time under tension is very important simply because it allows the body, the muscle, to stay engaged in the exercise for a predetermined time, which would cause it to break down and cause itself to have to heal back up. Now, once you go past the 10 to 12 rep range, you are starting to go into the endurance of a muscle. And the endurance fibers are not big fibers. They're not the big fibers. And you may have more endurance in doing that exercise, but you still won't have the appearance of being big, have that big look, if that's what you are looking for. And for those who are in it for the conditioning, you're gonna increase body size and overall look anyway. So you're gonna have a nice looking physique just for trying to stay in shape. And it's very important to determine which way you want to go, so you'll know how to train. Anyway, that's what I thought I'd talk to y'all about. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. And again, I'll be talking to you later.